Hello. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Obviously, game week 21, episode 21, as usual. Look, it's been a pretty good few days, obviously, as a somewhat Newcastle fan and Deportivo, obviously. But yeah, obviously, today is going to be talking about La Liga and obviously a bit of the Segunda as well, as there's a lot that happened this past game week in La Liga. Obviously, talking about La Liga and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, before we get started, please do hit the like button on the stream, subscribe to the channel right here, and obviously let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat as well. Big up to Rashmi Sharma. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, we might as well get started with the first game, which is Levante against Elche. This is the game that will happen in about 30 minutes from now. But yeah, both teams, both recently promoted. Well, they were promoted last season from the Segunda. But win probability 41% Levante win, 29% for a draw, and 30% for Elche win. Elche up in 8th place, though, to be fair, they're in and amongst the teams in the mid-table. I don't think Elche will have enough to get into Europe, I'll be honest. They have to finish at least 7th, I feel like, to have a shot of getting Europe. So I don't really see them getting Europe in the end. As for Levante, they did lose the last game. However, I think they have shown a little bit of improvement. But obviously, this game is going to be tough for them, even though they are at home against Elche, only 1 point above Oviedo as well. And when you look at the lineups, actually, which came out just now, Matt Ryan, former Australia goalkeeper. Obviously, you have Alvarez and Eta Iong is finally back for Levante, and also Elche, a few players in and amongst there. But yeah, in terms of prediction for this game, I think Levante have to win. For Elche, it's going to be quite tough, but I will go with Levante win. I think Levante will finally get a win for themselves. So I'll go with a big 3-1 win for Levante. I think they can do well against Elche. Obviously, we're the winners of the Segunda last season. So I'll go 3-1 for Levante over Elche. And let me look through the chat. No, I'm not going to try that. But big up as well. And yeah, Levante, pretty good lineup. I do think they might get the win here. I'm not going to say what you wrote. But yeah, next game we do have is Rayo Vallecano against Osasuna. I was about to say Espanyol. Rayo and Osasuna, 44% Rayo Vallecano win, 30% for a draw, 26% for Osasuna win. Both teams 12th against 13th, both on 22 points. I don't think either will get relegated. If you think they might, then maybe. But they would have to be in a bad run of form. But they have won at least each of them in the last 2 games. So pretty good for them. In terms of relegation zone, they are only 3 points above. But, a win for either team would put a little bit of daylight from them and the relegation zone. So I think it will be a very tough game. I did say that Rayo Vallecano will probably look to improve from now until they get into the Conference League round of 16, which will be in March. So they still have about 5 weeks or so, 5-6 weeks until that the tie of the Conference League happens. So in terms of a prediction, between the two sides, obviously finished 8th and 9th last season. I'm going for a Rayo Vallecano win. I'm going 2-1. I just think that, once again, the home side, and I do think they will try to pick up form just before that Conference League games in March, because obviously they are not in the playoffs. Next game we do have here is Valencia against Espanyol tomorrow. Now, obviously, Valencia picking up their first win in a while. Espanyol have kind of dropped off, I would say. Valencia 39% win, 30% draw. Espanyol 31% win. As I said, Espanyol since the new year have actually not really done well. They did lose the previous game, and also in one of the early times, they haven't. This month of January hasn't been that kind for Espanyol. Obviously, they had the derby as one of the first games back from the winter break, but they needed that win in the past game, but they ended up losing. So I think I'll be honest. I think that does kill off Espanyol's chances. I know it's still early in the season and they're only 7 points, but the head-to-head, even the goal difference doesn't favor Espanyol against Atleti or Villarreal, who I think are the closest that Espanyol can compete with. So I think Espanyol will have to try to at least maintain a European spot, either Europa League or Conference League. So I think, yeah, they need to finally get a win if they can. Whereas Valencia, they did get a win in their previous game. Finally, I believe it was against Getafe as well. So they've, for the first time in a long time, finally picked up wins for themselves. So Valencia need to start picking up form if they want to survive the drop. And when you think about Valencia in 17th, if almost all results go their way, when you think about if they get 5 points and everyone below them lose, Valencia would actually be in 8th. That's how tight it is. Alavés as well, just below them. So look, I think it's really close to call this sort of mid-table and potential relegation, especially if Levante were to win tonight. So Valencia do need to pick up results against Espanyol, especially when Espanyol are not in form. I think that win over Getafe kind of helped. And I'm actually going for a Valencia win. I'm going 2-1. I think Espanyol have kind of faltered in this month of January. So I'm going Valencia to win 2-1 against Espanyol. But yeah, the next game up we do have is Sevilla against Athletic Club. Athletic Club losing. Sevilla finally picking up a win as well. Sevilla 33% win, 31% for a draw, and 36% Athletic Club win percentage. If you look here, Athletic Club in 10th. They're actually now below Sociedad in the table, which kind of shows the disparity. Athletic kind of not really a good start to the season. However, they did win away at Atalanta in the Champions League, so they do have the potential of making it into the knockouts of the Champions League, which would be good for them. So they have to do well. As for Sevilla, actually, I forgot they didn't win. They actually got a draw against Elche on Monday night. So, yeah, I think they need to improve Sevilla, but they didn't look good against Elche despite the last-minute equalizer. So I think for Athletic Club, that win away at Atalanta does show that they still have quality in their team. So I'm actually going for another home side. Away side. Sorry. I'm actually going for Athletic Club to win. I'm going 2-1 Athletic away at Sevilla. I think they will have, I wouldn't say pressure, but try to pick up form, I would say. So that'll be my prediction. Let's see the chat as well. Who do you think will win the Premier League? At the moment, looks like it'll be Arsenal, but I could see it being Manchester City. I think that's really the only two teams. At the start of the season, like before the season started, I said Manchester City. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Arsenal. I will stick with Manchester City for now. I think I can't really decide it until like start of April, I would say. So I'll still say Manchester City, but it's still too close to call, I would say. But next up, we do have is two Champions League sides facing off against each other. Well, one of them will be out of the Champions League no matter what. Villarreal are hosting Real Madrid. Villarreal, this is third against second, but when you think about Champions League, Real Madrid third, Villarreal second to bottom. Like Villarreal have literally just killed off any hopes they have at all in the Champions League. 27% win probability for Villarreal, 24% draw, 49% Real Madrid win. Obviously, Real Madrid got a big win in the Champions League, 6-1 at home to Monaco. Villarreal losing to Ajax. But when you look at La Liga, it's like, oh, they're so good, Villarreal. And they do have a game in hand. So they have to win to somehow keep a chance of getting what do you call this, the La Liga title, Villarreal. I don't think it will happen anyway. So yeah, in terms of my prediction of this game, when I think about it, look, Villarreal are probably going to rotate in their game against Leverkusen, so I think they'll put more of their eggs in this basket in La Liga. I wouldn't be shocked if they get a result against Real Madrid. I would say that, despite the loss to Ajax the other day. So, in terms of a prediction, despite the win that Real Madrid had against Monaco on Tuesday night, I will go for a win. No. Actually, I'll go for a draw. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Villarreal and Real Madrid. I'm going for a 2-all draw. That's what I think will happen tomorrow night. And next up we have is Atletico Madrid against Mallorca. I'll get to the chat just after this one. Atletico Madrid, not a good travel away at Galatasaray, though they get a draw there. 74% Atletico Madrid win, 17% for a draw, and 9% for a Mallorca win. Obviously, Atleti seems like they're comfortably getting Champions League by the end of it, unbeaten in the last 4 La Liga games. Meanwhile, Mallorca did pick up a win away at Athletic Club, a hat-trick by Vedat Muriqi. So a little bit of a spoiler of who's going to be the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the last game week. But yeah, really, really big win for Mallorca away at Athletic Club. And I think that definitely gives them a big boost ahead of this game against Atletico. However, I do think Atletico are just a bit too strong for Mallorca. So I'm actually going with a win for Atletico. I'm going for a 2-0 win. I think especially when they have maybe a potential of getting top 8 in the Champions League. It all depends on the certain results. But I think they need to pick up a bit of form for this ahead of that Champions League game at home to Bodo Glimt, who did win the other day. So I'm going for Atletico Madrid to win 2-0 against Mallorca on Sunday afternoon. And then in the chat, let me check the chat. We need Villarreal win against Real Madrid. Yeah, possibly. I could see it actually. No chance of Villarreal winning. Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's quite even, especially when Villarreal will basically send the F team to the game against Leverkusen because they're out. Atleti 2-0 against Mallorca. Yeah, I can see it as well. Well, I just said that. Who do you think will win this game? I will say it ends in another draw. I'm going 1-1. That'll be my prediction. 1-1 between those two. But yeah, back to La Liga. Barcelona against Real Oviedo at the Camp Nou. Win probability 88% Barcelona win, 8% for a draw, and only 4%. Probably one of the lowest we've seen. This is first against last in La Liga. But Barcelona did lose to Real Sociedad away last game week. And they had a bit of a scare against Slavia Prague, 2-2 at halftime. They ended up winning 4-2. So yeah, Barcelona a bit stumbling since that Supercopa win. You know, won the Supercopa, beat Santander, but then lose to Sociedad, you know. And then nearly didn't win somewhat against Slavia Prague. So yeah, I think they need to regain a bit of form, especially when Real Madrid literally just gained ground on them. So they need to pick up a result here at home, especially against the worst team in La Liga at the moment, in last place on 13 points. Scored only 11 goals in 20 games. So yeah, I'll be honest. I just see nothing less than a Barcelona win, probably even a big win, despite the past two games they have a bit of trouble. Barcelona, I will go with a big 4-0 for Barcelona against Oviedo. Unfortunately the for the team from Asturias, 4-0 Barcelona is my prediction. Next up, this is probably a big game. This one, it is Real Sociedad against Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo winning in the Europa League at home against Lille. Now they travel to Sociedad, who have been unbeaten actually in 2026. 48% win probability for Sociedad, 27% for a draw, and only 25% Celta Vigo win. But when you think about it, it's literally very, very close between the two. Well, not in terms of points, but in terms of league standing, 7th against 9th. Sociedad have really picked up form, and who knows, maybe they can win 3 games in a row. And they have to win this in order to maybe have a chance of get European football by the end of this season, especially and catch up to Celta Vigo, who are 8 points ahead of them. But if they win, Sociedad, they will be cutting down to 5, with Celta Vigo probably going to miss out on top 8 for the Europa League. So that's an extra 2 games and all that. So yeah, I feel like for these two sides, it is going to be a very, very tough battle. I think this could go either way. I know I've been predicting Celta Vigo to lose most games, most of the time, but I will continue that. Sociedad to win. I'm going. I think that win against Barcelona has given me a little bit of confidence in them. I did say Sociedad at the start of the season would get some form of European football. Maybe not going to happen, but a win here would definitely boost that chances. I'm going 3-1 for Real Sociedad to beat Celta Vigo. So 3-1 Real Sociedad. And then on Sunday night, probably a big game. Let me look through the chat first. Who do you think Mbappe? Do you think Mbappe will break Ronaldo's 17 goals in 11 matches? I think right now it's 7 Champions League games. So, and Real Madrid are likely going to get top 8. So that's the game on Wednesday. And then what is? I know he's on 11 goals. I have to think. He's on 11 goals with the game against Benfica, which I can see him scoring. And then that would be what, game 8, so 3 more games. So it has to be the 2 round 16 games, and if they make it through the quarterfinal game, yeah, I can see. I can actually. Well, I did say Mbappe will win the top goal scorer of the Champions League, and it seems like he will, regardless. So I'll go. Yeah, I think he will. He will, and also because I said Real Madrid would win the Champions League start of the season. And I'm still not changing it despite the troubles, Real Madrid. But yeah, back to La Liga. We do have Alavés against Real Betis. Look, a big game for both. Alavés are in the relegation zone. Kind of a bad prediction I have on them at the start of the season. Betis, kind of where I expected them to in La Liga. 34% Alavés win, 31% draw, 35% Betis win. Actually, when you think about it, Alavés, actually, I think have a better record against Betis historically. But Betis are in 6th, and if they were to win, likely could go above Espanyol in the table. So, that could be something that might happen. But they did lose against PAOK, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. So not a good result, especially in aspirations of getting top 8. Though, to be fair, I do think Betis probably gets some form of result against Feyenoord this coming Thursday. Alavés, as I said, in the relegation zone, so far not good. Um, but yeah, I just think that Betis might have a bit of rotation, and I think Alavés do have a good record against Betis historically. I remember last season they won 3-1, I think, away at Betis. Now it's at home this time around. So I'm actually I'll go for a draw. I'll go 1-1 between Alavés and Real Betis. I just think Betis will probably rotate a few players ahead of that Feyenoord game. So we'll see. We'll see. And then Monday night, we do have here is Girona against Getafe. Both sides a little bit in the same sort of margin in terms of the league standings. Win probability 45% Girona win, 31% for a draw, and 24% for a Getafe win. And when you look at it, Girona, when you think about it, start of the season, Getafe were doing all right, Girona were doing bad. Now, how the tables have turned, Girona, 4 wins in the last 5, they've really picked up, especially they've won every game. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have won every single game. Oh, Celta Vigo. They've won every, and Real Madrid. But as I said, Girona have one of 3 teams actually that have won every single game since 2026 in La Liga. So they've picked up good form, and they're somehow tied for 8th, more or less, even though they're down in 11th. So yeah, I don't think Girona by the end of this season gets relegated, despite how bad they started the season. Getafe, however, they've been on free fall since like November, December time. Haven't really done much to help themselves, and they might be in some danger of getting relegated. It's not looking good for them. Monday Night Football, and you know what? I think Girona will get another win. I think they'll go 4 wins in a row in La Liga, and I'm going for a 2-0 win. I'll go 2-0 Girona at home against Getafe. So that's my prediction for that game. And now it is time for the El Toro de la Semana. Let me switch over, which is the best player of the game week. Obviously, the player that had the best contribution this past game week. And for me, I will say it's pretty easy for me to say who that is. I'm going for, I said him earlier today or in the stream, Vedat Mariki of Mallorca. He scored a hat-trick away at Athletic Club. Not many players can score hat-tricks away at Athletic Club. So I'm actually going for him as the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the week. I just think that his score or his hat-trick definitely helped Mallorca get away, well, actually out of the relegation zone, because they were, I believe, in that relegation zone at one point. So they've done well, and Mariki, man of the match, definitely away at Athletic Club to win away at San Mamés, and getting that win is pretty crucial, I would say. So yeah, Mariki is the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the week. Now it is time for the Segunda chat, talking about the second tier of Spanish football. So this past game week, match day 22, game week 22, we had last Friday, you had Castellón beating Leganes. Castellón, or probably, when you remember, Castellón are actually in the top 2. They've not been in La Liga since 1991, I believe. So they could be a surprise. Well, they are the surprise package this season, but a surprise team in La Liga next season, we'll see. Valladolid, 3-0 win away at Ceuta. You had a good game here. Leonesa 2, Gijón 4. Zaragoza 1, Sociedad B team 1. And then, last Saturday, thank God, Deportivo away win at Almeria. And actually, we have the best away form in Segunda. So Unlike Newcastle United's away form, Deportivo are actually really good away from home. And we do have a very big game coming up on Sunday. Probably not doing a watch long, but I might have it on the side or something like that. But yeah, a 2-1 win away at Almeria. Obviously, you guys can check out La Piña Rosa, which is the show I do with Charlie talking about Deportivo La Coruña, and for Charlie being Palermo. So yeah, I do think that for Deportivo, huge win for us. 4 points in the last two, actually 5 points in the last three, with a home game against top of the table. So the fact that I thought maybe January might be a bit tough for us, but I mean it has been. But we are unbeaten in the Segunda, despite the loss against Atletico Madrid, which I expected anyway. But yeah, good win for us ahead of the game on Sunday night for us, which you guys will find out who that is. Andorra 2-1 win away at Miranda's. It seems like, as I do think Miranda's go down. Racing Santander finally picking up a win as well. First one this year. A 4-1 win at home to Las Palmas. Huge result. Burgos 1, Huesca 0. You had Albacete, who beat Real Madrid, beat Cadiz, and now in the Copa del Rey, in about 10-ish days from now, 10, 11, 12 days from now, or in about 2 weeks, Albacete hosts Barcelona. Of all teams they drawn, they got Barcelona. So yeah, it's going to, if Albacete, who are not that good in the Segunda, if Albacete knock out Real Madrid and Barcelona, and then maybe, who knows, maybe in the next round they get Atleti or someone like that and win as well over 2 legs. Albacete are not known for anything. I like anyone in the chat that's still listening, I bet none of you know where Albacete is in Spain. You don't even know what region, what community of Spain Albacete are from. That's how, I wouldn't call them irrelevant, but that's how, like, no one knows much about Albacete. Literally. So look, if they were to beat Barcelona in the quarterfinals, then I think they and they don't get promoted from the Segunda, which I don't think they will anyway. Crazy. But they did win against Cadiz, so it wasn't a fluke that they beat Real Madrid. They go on to beat Cadiz. You had Malaga beating Cordoba away, and Malaga on good run of form now. They've won every single game. Granada 0, Eibar 0. Pretty boring for both teams at the bottom. At the moment, there is a game happening. Malaga 0, Burgos 0. Both teams fighting for those promotion spots. You had Valladolid taking on Albacete tomorrow afternoon. Leganes taking on Sociedad B. Tough game for both teams, actually. I do think Leganes, and then obviously I do think Valladolid does beat Albacete. Sporting Gijon against Mirandas will be tough, but I do think Gijon get the win. Las Palmas taking on Cordoba. Both teams losing this past game week, but for Deportivo point of view, I hope it's a draw. So I'll go for a draw. And then obviously another Andalusian derby, usually happens every game week. Cadiz taking on Granada. I do think Cadiz win. Andorra taking on Huesca. I'll go Andorra to win. Eibar taking on Almeria. Obviously, Almeria just lost to us, Deportivo. But I think they bounce back. I do think so. Zaragoza, Castellon. If Castellon are serious, they win here against Zaragoza. Let me talk about Deport Racing after this. Ceuta on Monday hosting Leonesa. I think that might end like in a high-scoring draw, maybe 2-2. But Deportivo, Racing Santander. Santander are first, 4 points ahead of us, 3 points ahead of second and third place, I believe. And then Deportivo were in fourth. But if we were to beat Racing Club, that would be huge. That would be huge in the push for promotion. Yeah, as I said, if Albacete knock out, well, I mean, they still have to go if they were to beat Barcelona, they still have to beat over 2 legs. So and then obviously they would meet the final. Which, to be fair, imagine Albacete in the Supercopa de España. Imagine that. You know, I don't. I'll be honest. I do think Barcelona. I think they'll win against Albacete. But can lightning strike twice? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, this game, Deportivo against Racing Santander, which you guys can check out my preview with Charlie on La Piña Rosa this past Monday night. Obviously, this game's on Sunday night. I might not do a watch long, but I will obviously keep my eyes on it. Obviously. Oh yeah, obviously. I know. And Newcastle would be Villa on Sunday as well. It will be fun if we lose, but yeah, this game Deportivo Santander, we have to win. This is the game I'm saying must win, must win. The past 2-3 games I said I'll take a draw. I said I would have taken a draw against Las Palmas away. I said I would have taken a draw away at Almeria. We've picked up 4 points out of 6 in the 2 away games. This game at home against Santander, we lost to Santander 2-1 back in October. We have to win this game. Have to win this game. But if you guys want to know my prediction for that game, do check out my show with Charlie. So, but obviously, I hope we win. I hope we win. I hope we win. But yeah, that is basically it for episode 21 of El Toro. Obviously, talking about La Liga and a bit of Segunda as well. But yeah, obviously, do let me know your thoughts in the live chat still and in the comments section. But yeah, in terms of what you guys can expect, I don't know if I'll do a watch long of Deportivo Santander. It is in my mind. It is on my mind potentially to do that. I will see. I'll see. Maybe depends on how I feel and if I'm up for it, like to do a watch long, like to actually have it on YouTube. Otherwise, obviously, check out my show with Charlie on Monday, La Piña Rosa, whereby I will review that game and obviously preview our game away at Leonessa in a couple of days from now, 3 days from now. And then obviously, I'll be doing a Champions League live watch long. Obviously, Newcastle United versus PSG. We're away at PSG. But I will be joined potentially with not just Charlie, but maybe a few other panelists. Everyone that has Champions League clubs in the Champions League. Special day on Wednesday. Champions League. Let's see if Newcastle get top 8. I don't expect us to. In the end, I did say for Newcastle, I did say at the start of the season when the schedule came out, I said 13 points was my expectation for Newcastle, and it looks like we will. Well, we are already on 13 points, but can we exceed it and get the top 8? Time will tell on Wednesday night. So we'll be doing a watch long for that, just like I did for our game at home to PSV, which we won 3-0. And then obviously I'll be back with Charlie again on Thursday, talking about the Champions League review and obviously Premier League review on Thursday at the Year of the Bird. And then obviously Friday, 12 o'clock my time or 11 o'clock UK, it is the Champions League playoff draw. Whether or not Newcastle United are in it, maybe. That's why I kind of have it there. Maybe might be joined with 1 or 2 others as well, maybe Charlie or someone like that. But yeah, it's going to be a big one this coming week of football. And obviously, the next El Toro La Liga show is next week at around this time, more or less, talking about game week 22 in La Liga, which I'm not mistaken. I believe I have to. Let me just quickly recheck. I'm pretty sure the Basque Derby is next weekend. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. I know it's one of the next 2 game weeks after this upcoming one. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, net on the 1st of February is the Basque Derby, Athletic against Sociedad. So I wasn't wrong. But yeah, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Obviously, I will be back potentially on Sunday. I might do a watch long of Deportivo versus Santander. If not, I'll be back on Monday night talking about that game with Charlie on La Piña Rosa and obviously Champions League and obviously Newcastle, more Newcastle focused stuff. But yeah, the next time I'll do this show, I'll do one more chat before I go. Yeah, next Sunday. The not this upcoming one, the one after the 1st of February, the Basque Derby. But yeah, I will see you guys probably Sunday, likely Monday on the channel. But yeah, peace, and I'll see you guys.